Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do a tier list about all the Clash Royale cards. I do not think Goblin Cage is in this, but you know, Goblin Cage is alright. I mean, I'd probably put it in the A or B tier. But, okay, let's start. The Dark Goblin. I really do like the Dark Goblin. I don't really use it that much. I'll put that in the A tier, but the Dark Goblin, it shoots out, you know, I don't know, spit wads or darts or something, and it does do a lot of damage. If you have it upgraded to, I don't know what level, but it does like 100 plus damage, and it's really good. And if you have a tank for it, it does a ton of damage, and it's just really good. The Miner, I don't have the Miner. I like the Miner because I've used it in drafts. I'll also put that in the A tier because it's good, because when you're making a, when you're putting the Miner on the tower, it doesn't get hit when it's actually going to the tower. That's what's good about it. And some Lumberloon Miner decks are really good. So I do like the Miner even though I don't have it. The Snowball? Snowball is basically the Fireball, but like, you know, the Fireball does more damage and the Snowball slows down enemies when it hits. So I'll put the Snowball at B only because I like the Fireball better. Although the Snowball does slow down enemies for a little bit, it's okay. It's good in some decks. The Freeze Spell. Okay, I don't know, this Freeze Spell is good, but it is in, like, if you do a Hog Rider Freeze deck, it used to be an old meta, but it's, like, a lot of people know how to defend it now, and they can freeze the tower. But if it was back then, I'd put this in the A, but right now, I'll put it in the B. The Graveyard, I don't have the Graveyard either, though. The Miner and Graveyard, Lava Hound, and Princess are the 4 cards that I do not have. And so the Graveyard is pretty good. If you have a Poison Yard, I think it's called, a Poison Yard deck, that can be pretty good. But there's a ton of counters. You could easily put a Skeleton Army in, but if you have a poison, that will take out all the skeletons. But the best counter, I think, is Baby Dragon, because it has a decent amount of health in it, or Valkyrie. Valkyrie is also really good because they both have health, so poison won't defeat it right away. So I'll put Graveyard because I don't know many good decks with Graveyard. I'm gonna put that at the C tier. Minion Horde. Minion Horde. So I actually have a story about this. Back when there was a clan battle chest and stuff, I would do this with a couple of friends where we would both place down a minion horde. One of us would clone it and one of us would rage it. And then once we would place down more minions and like just cheap defense troops. But if they have arrows, we're screwed. But usually we always get a lot of crowns with it. There's like 24 minions, and then when we actually get enough elixir, there can be up to 30, 27 minions, and it's really crazy. So I really do like Minion Horde. I'm gonna put that at A tier. Valkyrie. Okay, Valkyrie is in a lot of good decks. It basically spins and really fast, and it takes out all the things around it, unless it has a lot of health. Like skeletons, it takes skeletons out in one hit, and if there's a skeleton army surrounding and trying to attack the Valkyrie, then the Valkyrie can get it in up to 2 or 3 hits, 2 or 3 swings. I really do like the Valkyrie, so I'm going to put that in S tier. Wizard. There are many wizards in this game. There's 3, I think. Yeah, 3. And so the wizard does splash damage, and it does a lot of damage. So I really, so it basically shoots a fireball, and it takes out minion horde really fast. So if you're in a draft battle and you take wizard and there's minions, I would give them minions because you have an easy counter to minion horde. But if there's something that's not as good as minion horde and you want to take minion horde, then I would do that too. Because minion horde wizard decks are sometimes pretty good, but they're like, I really like wizard also. Put that at A tier. Sparky is really not that good. It does a ton of damage, but it's so easily countered. Like, nobody really, it's an electrical machine, and it shoots out, and it does a little bit of splash damage. It shoots out an electric bolt, and it eliminates them pretty much like in one hit, unless it's a tank troop. So I'll put Sparky at C. There can be good decks with it, but it's really not that good. Cannon is bad. I'm just gonna straight away put that at D tier, but you're better off just using Bomb Tower, honestly. Even though Bomb Tower's not the greatest either, you're better off using Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower is better than Cannon because it does splash damage, and I think it does even more damage. But the best thing that you could use instead of a cannon, you could use an Inferno Tower. I mean, where is it? Where is the Inferno Tower? Oh, right here. You could use this Inferno Tower. It's honest. It's good. It's so good. Three Musketeers. There's not really that many counters for Three Musketeers, but if somebody puts Three Musketeers in one lane, you're better off just going for the other lane because they're out of elixir and they can't defend. But if Three Musketeers lock onto your tower, that is deadly. But you can easily get their towers faster if you place down your elixir troops and stuff. So I'll be generous and I'll put Three Musketeers at C because I don't really like them, but they do a lot of damage. Arrows. Arrows is a very underrated card. It is pretty good. So I'm gonna like arrows. It's helpful. It's so helpful. Everyone thinks it's so bad because it's a common card, but it's so helpful. It's better than, I don't know if you guys would say it's better than Zap. Zap and arrows are pretty much the same. It's just Zap has a smaller radius, and it is less elixir, and I think it takes a little bit longer for arrows to actually go and hit. So I'm gonna put arrows at A tier. Giant Skeleton. Giant Skeleton is mainly for earlier arenas, although other cards can be in higher arenas, but like Prince, for example, there's double Prince decks, but you get that in training camp. Double Prince decks are really good. But Giant Skeleton, not many people use it in higher arenas. I don't really like it either, so I'm gonna put that at the D tier. It basically, it's a tank troop, and it goes after other troops too. It's not like Giant Golem or like Royal Giant. It goes after other troops, and it's 6 elixir. It goes after other troops, and when it dies, it drops out this big bomb. Depending on how much you have it upgraded, let's say it's at like level 8 or level 9, then it does 1,000+ damage. That's why it can be really good, but mainly not a lot of people use it. Skeletons. Skeletons is, I think, the only 1 elixir card. Heal spell, I think this is a bit of an older tier list, but this heal spell, now it's 1 elixir too. It's 1 elixir, but those are the only 2 1 elixir cards. Skeletons is also kind of underrated. It's not that good, but it's good because if you need to cycle, like it's good in Hog Rider or Lumberjack cycle decks. You can put the skeletons, just split them in the back to cycle. So those are all right. I'll put that at the B tier. But Lumberjack is debatably the best legendary in the game, or even the best card in the game. It's debatable. It's up to other people, but I really do like the Lumberjack. If you have a Lumberloon deck, that's good, and even if you have a Lumberloon Miner deck, that is even better. They're really good. What I like to do is I put my balloon in the back by the King Tower, and when it gets up by the by the arena bridge, then I put the Lumberjack in front, and when I have enough elixir, I put the Miner behind the right tower. And that's only if I have a Lumberloon Miner deck. If I have a Lumberloon deck by itself, I put the Lumberjack at the bridge, and I put the balloon a little bit to the right of the bridge, so it's harder for them to carry the balloon over, like have it target on something else. That's what I like to do, because when the Lumberjack dies, it puts out a rage spell, and it rages the balloon all the way to the tower, and it does do 200 damage. At the first level, it does 200 damage per hit, and it does hit really fast. So if you have a Lumberjack on the tower by itself without defending, it'll almost get the whole tower. Only if you are playing against like a level 9 or a level 8 above, it'll have like 400 to 800 more health. So I really do like the Lumberjack, so I'm going to put that in the S tier. Furnace is also pretty underrated. I have this Lumberloon deck that I like to use, and it has Furnace, because if they don't defend a Furnace, the Fire Spirits do a lot of damage, so that's just good chip damage. So I'll put that in the A tier. It basically spawns 2 Fire Spirits every, like, I don't know how long, but it spawns 2 Fire Spirits every once in a while. And it's another, like, spawner thing, a spawner card. Spear Goblins. Spear Goblins are pretty good. They're another goblin. They're goblins, but they have spears and they can attack from a farther distance. And they do, if you level them up, they do 100 damage per hit. So they're pretty good. If you have Spear Goblins if you have a tank in front of the Spear Goblins, then the Spear Goblins will do a lot of damage to the tower. But overall, Spear Goblins are really not that good. I'm gonna put that at the B tier. Clone spell. Like I said with the minion deck that I did for the clan battle stuff, the minion horde, and then I would clone it and rage it. Then it really does do a ton of damage if they don't like have a defense to it. But they can easily put in arrows or a zap and you're done for. So overall, I mean, the clone can be really helpful too, but overall the clone is it's okay. I'll put that at the B tier also. Rascals. I really do like Rascals. Rascals basically have they place down 3 troops, and it has a smaller giant kind of that goes after other troops and has a wooden sword. Doesn't do that much damage, but there's another there's 2 other troops. They're like archers, but they shoot bubblegum, and they do like 100 damage, I think, per hit. So if you have Rascals by themselves on a tower and they don't defend it, it will do quite a bit of damage. So I really do like Rascals. I put that at the S tier. I love Rascals. Barbarians. Elite Barbarians are so much better than Barbarians. I don't really like Barbarians too much. Barbarians cost 5 elixir and puts out 5 Barbarians that do a lot of damage. If you put them on a tower and they don't get defended, they obviously will almost take out the tower. They might even, depending on the level of the guy. But overall, they're really not that good. I don't like them at all. I don't have any good decks with them. So I'm going to put that in the D tier. Hunter. Hunter is relatively new. It's not that new. I mean, it came out. I think it came out last year. Might have come out this year. I don't know. But Hunter, I do like Hunter. It does do a lot of damage. If you have a tank with a Hunter, it does a lot of damage to the tower. And it can attack air troops. It doesn't look like it, but it can attack air troops. It basically shoots out like 5 cannonballs, and they all go in different directions. And it has not that much health. I do like Hunter. I don't have many good decks with it. I have a couple. So I'll put that at the B tier. Tesla. Tesla is on a building card that is also a defense, like Bomb Tower, Cannon, and Inferno Tower. But Tesla, I think it's like a zap on like when it hits troops. I think it like stops it for like a split second. Like a zap, but I don't know. And it does do damage. It's good for defense, but it's a little bit better than the cannon, so I'll put that in C. Skeleton Army. Skeleton Army you get in training camp. It is good, but there are so many counters for Skeleton Army. Like, if you have Skeleton Army can defend P.E.K.K.A. So what I like to do, I like to bait their stuff. So like, I'll put down maybe like Goblin Gang or other skeletons, or like just normal 1 elixir skeletons. And then if they arrow, zap, or log all of that, then I place down my Skarmy to take care of the P.E.K.K.A. So Skarmy is, I call Skeleton Army Skarmy. So Skeleton Army is also really good. I'll put that at A tier. Electro Dragon. Electro Dragon is preferably one of my favorite cards. I like it. It like zaps 2 objects. It's kind of like the Electro Wizard, except the Electro Wizard shoots a little bit faster, and the Electro Dragon is in the air. Electro Wizard's on the ground. It's 5 elixir, and it's an epic card. I really do like it. It does quite a bit of damage. And so, like, there's a good Golem deck that has Baby Dragon and Electro Dragon in it, and Bandit and Golems and stuff. And so if you get Golem and if you put Golem in the back, and while your elixir's charging up, you can place a Baby Dragon and Electro Dragon. Baby Dragon for splash, Electro Dragon for just basically extra damage or taking out other troops. And so then you're just set. It does a lot of damage. Ice Golem. I don't like Ice Golem that much. There was an Ice Golem Ram Rider deck that I did like, but it's really just not that great. It's basically a smaller Golem that has a lot less health. It's 2 elixir. And it goes like straight to any building, and it does like 30 to 70 damage depending on how much you upgrade it. And it's good. It's mostly for defense, but if you want to tank it with a Ram Rider in that one Ice Golem Ram Rider deck, that works out. But there's also really a lot of counters, and when it dies, it kind of explodes like a snowball. And it slows down the troops around it for a couple seconds. I'll put that at the C tier. I really don't like Ice Golem that much. Mega Knight. Mega Knight is a 7 elixir card that does a tiny bit of splash damage, and it's a tank. So when it spawns in, it slams down on the ground, and it does damage to ground troops. When it slams down, if you're trying to slam on an air troop, even when it slams down to spawn, it does not hit the air troops. It only hits ground troops. And it's basically a better version of the Knight, except it has 2 like spike balls on the end. I forgot what those are called, and it does do a lot of damage. If you have a Mega Knight deck, and Mega Knight is good for defense also, and it's hard to counter Mega Knight. The best counter I would say for Mega Knight would be P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. takes out Mega Knight before Mega Knight can take out P.E.K.K.A. And so Mega Knight is a very spectacular card. I really like it, so I'm going to put that in the S tier. Hog Rider. Like I said, with Hog Rider freeze decks, this card, and Hog Rider, Um, those used to be really good, but now everybody knows about those decks and knows how to counter them. They're really not that great anymore. I do like Hog Rider, but I don't have many good decks with Hog Rider. A lot of people will probably disagree with me on this one. I understand if you do. I just don't really have many good decks with Hog Rider, so I'm going to put that in the B tier for right now. Minions. Minions are also like Minion Horde, except they're 2 less elixir and it spawns half of the minions of a Minion Horde. So minions, it's a better deal getting Minion Horde because it spawns 6 minions and it's 5 elixir. And with normal minions, it's just 3 minions. It's 3 elixir and it spawns less. So I'm gonna put that in the C tier. Inferno Dragon. Inferno Dragon is another dragon like Electro Dragon and Baby Dragon, but it does not do splash damage and it does like 100 damage every second. So if an Inferno Dragon locks onto a tower, it will do a ton of damage, and it's like the Inferno Tower and the Inferno Tower where it charges up, and when it's attacking one certain card, let's say it's going after a tank, it charges up after like 5 seconds and does even more damage. But that's not how it works if it's with Skeleton Army, where it can take it out right away. It doesn't charge up more and doesn't do more damage. So I'm gonna put Inferno Dragon at the A tier for right now. Musketeer. Musketeer is a great card. You get it in Arena 1, or you might get it in Training Camp. I don't know, but the Musketeer does quite a bit of damage. It does like 100 damage, 100 plus damage, and it does not do splash damage. The Hunter is a little bit similar. It shoots like the same cannonball, except the Hunter shoots 5 cannonballs and the Musketeer only shoots 1. They're both for the same elixir. I do like Musketeers, and it's pretty similar to Hunter, so I'm going to put that in B tier. Executioner. Executioner is a card you get at Arena 9, and it basically throws an axe, and it does splash damage. This is another counter for Minion Horde and like Skeleton Army. And it has quite a bit of health. Executioner is mainly for defense cards, but it can be used for offense. It is a very good card, so I'm gonna put that at the S tier. Sorry, there's a little bit of a technical difficulty. Zap. Zap is another card that you get. I don't know what arena you get it in. You might get it in Training Camp, but Zap is also like arrows, where it does splash damage, and it's pretty much the same thing as arrows, except it's less elixir and it spawns faster. So I'm gonna put that in the B tier because of the radius. The radius is smaller. I really do like this Zap though. Guards are really not that great. There are a couple good decks with them, but they're basically skeletons that have shields. And so when the shield is eliminated, it goes to their actual health. And there's only 3 of them. It does counter a couple good stuff. I don't really like them. I'm going to put them in the D tier. Elite Barbarians. These are just basically upgraded barbarians. It has 1 more elixir, but it spawns 2 barbarians. And the 2 barbarians do a ton of damage, and they have a lot more health. If you have elite barbarians and behind that you put a wizard, that's a good deck. You put the wizard in the back, and then when it gets up by the bridge, you put elite barbarians in front of it. And so if there's like a Skarmy or like a Minion Horde, the wizard can take all the splash damage and can take it all out, and it'll lock onto the tower and do a ton of damage. But Otherwise, Elite Barbarians don't have many good decks. So I'm going to put that in the C tier. Prince. Prince is also a really great deck. I mean, Prince is another really great card. You get in training camp. There are double Prince decks that are really good. So basically it's like like a kind of a gladiator, jouster or something. It has one of those like staffs or whatever, and it does not do splash damage. Skarmy counters that. And it does do a lot of damage. The charge does like 700 plus damage, and then it does 200 to 300 damage every hit. I have Prince. I have a level 10 Prince that is really good. In my double Prince decks, the double Prince decks are really good in arena. Maybe when do you get Dark Prince? Whenever you get Dark Prince, that arena till like arena 9, or actually arena 10 too. But it gets like they're not that good when you get to arena 11 up and up. So I'm gonna put the Prince at the B tier. Actually, I'll put it at the A tier. I'll be generous because I really do like it. Heal spell. Probably it's this could be debatable, but it's probably the worst card in the game. Now this tier list is a little bit older. So it shows that it's 3 elixir, but now that it's actually 1 elixir, it just heals a troop. It does not heal any buildings. It does not heal your towers. Many people think that they can do that, but it cannot. Otherwise, heal spell is really not that good because it does not heal the cards that too much. So I'm going to put that at the D tier. I really don't really like that. Log. Log is like Zap and Arrows, except Log does tons more damage, but it does not go after air troops. Log can take out Skarmy in one hit, in one log, and it can also do a ton of damage to wizards. Like, wizards don't have much health. Like, this wizard actually, it will do half of the damage. The log will do half of the damage to the wizard. So that's why I really do like log. So I'm going to put that in the S tier. Bomb tower. Bomb tower is another building that does its defense. It's like Tesla, Cannon, Inferno Drag. I mean, not Inferno Drag, Inferno Tower. Except bomb tower is kind of like Tesla. I'll put it in the C tier. It's like Tesla, except it has bombs and it does splash damage and a little bit more damage. It's a little bit better than Tesla, but I'm still gonna put it in C tier. Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit is proven to be the fastest card in the game. Lumberjack is the second fastest, but Ice Spirit is the fastest card in the game. Basically, it does a little bit of splash damage, and when you have a good push, this is actually the third 1 elixir card. I thought there were only 2. I forgot about Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit is also 1 elixir. So if you have a good push and then you get 1 more elixir, you put the Ice Spirit in the back behind the whole push, and when the Ice Spirit gets to the tower, it hits the tower and it freezes the tower for like 1 or 2 seconds. And so then the troops that you have for the push can do even more damage. And if there's like a wizard that's defending the push, then the Ice Spirit will freeze the wizard too if it's by the tower. So Ice Spirit is really good. I like Ice Spirit. I'll put that in the A tier. Tombstone. Tombstone is another spawner card. It's really not that great. I actually do like Goblin Hut better, but Goblin Hut's also not good. And Barbarian Hut is not good either. So Tombstone basically spawns 1 skeleton every 5 seconds or something. And it has a little bit of health, and it spawns 1 skeleton, which can be taken out by a tower in 1 hit. So it makes Tombstone really not that good. So I'm going to put that at the D tier. Inferno Tower. This is debatably the best defense building card. I think it's the best. So it's like Inferno Dragon, where if you place it down, it goes after one troop that has a lot of health, then it'll charge up after 5 seconds. It'll charge up and do even more damage. And like against a giant, it'll do like a lot of damage to the giant, and like 5 seconds after, it'll do like more than double of the damage, and you'll see chunks and chunks of it going away really fast. I love Inferno Tower. It's one of my favorite cards. I'm gonna put that at the S tier. Witch. There are 2 witches in the game, Witch and Night Witch. I like Witch better because Witch can attack from a shorter, a longer distance, and it spawns 3 skeletons every 10 seconds, I think. And it does a little bit of splash damage. It does not do that much damage, and it does not have that much health. I really do not like Witch that much. There's not many good decks with Witch. I'm going to put that at the C tier. Bowler. Bowler is good. I like Bowler. This troop is also in Clash of Clans, but it basically rolls a bowling ball, and it does a lot of damage. It does a little bit of splash damage. You can counter it. You can counter Skarmy a little bit with it, I guess. But Bowler, it does not attack air troops, and Bowler pushes back a troop. Like, let's say there's a wizard coming in, and the Bowler rolls its bowling ball, and it'll push the wizard back a tiny bit, like 2 tiles of the Clash Royale arena. It'll push it 2 tiles back, and that's why it's also really good. And the Bowler is a 5 elixir card. It does quite a bit of damage too, so I'm gonna put that at the B tier. I like it. Ram Rider. Ram Rider is also debatably one of the best card in the game. I think Lumberjack, Mega Knight, and Ram Rider are the 3 best cards. That can also be debatable, but I really do like Ram Rider. Ram Rider is a battle ram. Basically, it rides a ram that charges towards the tower, kind of like a battle ram and a prince. It charges towards the tower, and then when it hits, it does 200, 300, 400 damage, and then the hog does like 100 damage per hit, and it keeps hitting it. And while the Ram Rider's going, if there's a defense troop, the Ram Rider can throw its like rope with 2 rocks on the ends. It throws that at the troops, and it slows down the troops like really slow. It kind of makes them go slower than the actual snowball does when it hits a troop. It's so good, and it does a lot of damage. So let's say there's an Inferno Dragon that's trying to eliminate the Ram Rider. If the Ram Rider's charging, it'll go really fast, and it'll slow down the Inferno Dragon when it throws its rope with 2 rocks on the ends. And then it'll cause the Inferno Dragon to go really slow towards the Ram Rider, and so that causes the Ram Rider to do a lot of damage to the tower. So I really do like the Ram Rider. That is also going to be in my spectacular, or I don't know if it's spectacular, but I'm gonna put that in the S category. Magic Archer. I have a really great deck with Magic Archer. It is really good. It does, like, the deck that I use, I've been getting a lot of wins with it and stuff, and I'm in Spooky Town now. This got me through Electro Valley, this deck. And so Magic Archer is a 4 elixir card. It's like an archer, except it shoots. I think it does a little bit more damage, and it goes through troops too. It does damage to the troop, and it goes through it. So if there's like a Skarmy, and like they're kind of going towards the bridge, if you put a Magic Archer right behind your tower, then it'll shoot through your tower, and it'll go and hit the skeletons in a row, and if there's skeletons behind each other, then it'll shoot an arrow right in line, and anything in line with the arrow will instantly die if it's a skeleton. But if it's like a minion horde or something that has a little bit more health, it will not instantly die. That's only for skeletons. If they're lined up, then it'll go through every card, and it will do damage. It will do damage to everything that's in line with the arrow. I really do like the Magic Archer. I'm going to put that in the A tier. Tornado. Tornado, there was a Hog-Nado deck that was really good. So basically, what happens is the Hog Rider goes towards the tower, and if there's something that's trying to defend the Hog Rider, then you tornado that to the other bridge so it won't go after the Hog Rider. And also the tornado is used for if there's a Hog Rider against you, then when the Hog Rider comes in and it goes to your tower, you can tornado it to your King Tower so it activates your King Tower, which will help you in defenses when there's someone that does not, there's a card that doesn't have range and it goes after the tower directly. So Tornado is good. I'm going to put that at the B tier. Rage Spell. Rage Spell is another 2 elixir card. It's a spell that basically, so with the Lumberjack, when the Lumberjack dies, it produces a Rage Spell. The Rage Spell rages up cards, and it makes them go really, and moves really fast, and attacks even faster, and does more damage. Rage Spell is a 2 elixir card that does that, and it just basically just rages the cards that are in the radius. But overall, Rage is not really that good, so I'm going to put that in the C tier. Skeleton Barrel. Skeleton Barrel is something that has 3 balloons, and that carries the skeleton barrel that, like, puts them in the air. And when the skeleton barrel gets attacked and, like, dies, and the barrel gets destroyed, then a couple, like a few skeletons will drop down in a circle. It's kind of like skeletons in Skeleton Army, except it does a little bit more, it produces a little bit more skeletons than just the 1 elixir skeletons, but it's less skeletons than the Skeleton Army. I don't really like Skeleton Barrel. It's really not that good, so I'm going to put that in the D tier. And there's not many good decks with Skeleton Barrel and stuff. Night Witch. Night Witch is also like Witch, except it's debatably worse. I think it's a little bit worse. But if you have this Golem beatdown deck that has Night Witch in it, it is really good at that. Basically, it's like Witch, except it spawns 2 bats, and it's a melee troop. It goes after the tower right next to the tower, and it has an axe, and it does more damage than the Witch. So I'm gonna also put the Night Witch in the C tier. Mortar. Mortar is another defense card that is really bad. Nothing can attack it. Like that, if that's really the mortar cannot attack troops that are really close to the actual mortar, and it basically does a little bit of splash damage, and it can lock onto a tower. It's just really not that good, and it produces a mortar every like 7 seconds, so I'm gonna put that in the D tier. It's really bad. I don't like it. Goblin Gang. Goblin Gang is really good. You get it in Arena 9. It spawns 3 normal goblins, and it spawns 2 or 3 spear goblins. So basically, it spawns 3 goblins which go after the tower themselves, and the spear goblins, I already explained the spear goblins right here. This card, it's the same thing, except it's 3 elixir, and it spawns these goblins and these goblins. it spawns like both of them combined, and it's for less elixir. So I really like that card. I'm gonna put that in the A tier. I really like this card. So Goblin Barrel. Goblin Barrel, you also get that in the training camp. And it's good in some decks, but when you get to higher arenas, it's really not that great. So it's a barrel that you can put onto the tower. If you put it on the tower, it will spawn 3 goblins that do a lot of damage. But overall, they're really not that good, so I'm going to put that in the B tier. Bandit. Bandit is another legendary card. It's kind of, what's the similarity? I mean, Lumberjack is similar to Bandit, except Bandit can charge onto a tower. Like, kind of like the Prince, it charges when it gets to a troop or a tower or something. Depending on how far away it is, it'll charge and go really fast, charging at the troop or tower, and it attacks pretty fast, and it does a little bit less damage than the Lumberjack. But while it charges at like the thing it's attacking, it is not able to be hit while it's charging. That's why Bandit is pretty good. And it's not a card that I mainly use that much, so I'm gonna put that in the A tier. Barbarian Hut. Barbarian Hut is really not good. It's another spawner thing, and another spawner troop, and it spawns 2 barbarians every like 15 seconds. It's not good, and it's for 7 elixir. It's really bad. Never use this. I'll put that in the D tier. Bomber. Ooh, Bomber is very underrated. You get it in training camp, and it throws a bomb that does splash damage. Although the skeleton that throws the bomb does not have much health, it is pretty good. If you have a tank, the bomber does like 300 damage if you upgrade it. So it's really good. It does 300 damage, and the bomb does splash damage. And then when it hits the tower, it'll go after other troops too. And it does a lot of damage, so I like Bomber. It's pretty underrated, but I'll put that in the B tier. Cannon Cart. Cannon Cart is a better version of Cannon, except it can move, and when the cannon, like the wheels break after it gets attacked a little bit, it actually breaks and turns into a normal cannon. And it's for only 2 elixir extra. Cannon Cart is better than Cannon, but I really do not like Cannon Cart that much either, so I'm going to put that in the D tier. Some people might not agree with me on that one. Giant. I really like Giant. Giant is a tank troop, and it's also pretty underrated, but Giant is a tank troop that is really good. It punches buildings. And so it moves pretty slow. It has a lot of health, but it punches buildings, and it does like quite a bit of damage. If you leave a giant by itself on a tower, I think it does take out the tower if it's not defended. It might not. It might make the tower really low, but and there are many counters like Skarmy, because giants don't go after other troops. So the Skarmy will take out the giant pretty fast. So I'll put Giant at the A tier. And you can also have Zap or Arrows or Log to take out the Skarmy, and then it'll just go into the tower. Goblin Hut. Goblin Hut is like Barbarian Hut and Tombstone. They're all really bad. They spawn troops. Unless you like spawner decks, if you're into that sort of thing, it spawns 2 spear goblins every like 7 seconds. And it has like not that much health. It can be taken out by a fireball pretty much. So I'm going to put that in the D tier also. I really don't like Goblin Hut that much. Royal Giant. Royal Giant is like Giant, except it has a cannon that it holds. It's for 1 more elixir, and it has, I think, the same amount of health. And it does a lot more damage than Giant. It's another tank troop. I like it better than Giant. So I'll put that in A tier with it because it's not one of my favorite cards or anything. Knight is okay. A lot of higher people use Knight. I don't personally like Knight. So Knight is it basically has a sword and it does not do splash damage. It does not have that much health and it just hits stuff, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty much just a normal Knight and it's really not that good. So I'm gonna put that in the D tier. I don't like it. Mega Minion. Mega Minion is it does a lot of damage. And it does like 300 damage per hit if you have it upgraded, and it does do a lot of it does not do splash damage, and it does not have that much health, so it's really not that good. I'll put that in the B tier. Fireball. I believe I mentioned Fireball. It's like the Snowball, except it's way better. It does not slow down troops, but it does do a lot more damage. It's just a Fireball that hits stuff, and it'll take out a Skarmy. It'll take out a minion horde. It does quite a lot of damage. So I'll put that in the A tier. Poison. I do not like Poison that much. Like I said, there's a Poison Yard, which is Poison in Graveyard. That deck is pretty good. Poison is basically, you place it down, and it keeps poisoning anything that is in the radius, that is in like the radius of the thing, the radius of the whole poison spell, and it does a little bit of damage. It does like 70 damage every second. But overall, it's really not that great. It's for 4 elixir, so I'm going to put that in the C tier. P.E.K.K.A. Like I said, P.E.K.K.A. is a counter for Mega Knight. Although P.E.K.K.A. counters Mega Knight, it is really not that great. Not many people use it. But so with P.E.K.K.A., it's basically a tank troop. It's like a hybrid. It's a tank, and it does damage. It does a lot of damage. It's like mini P.E.K.K.A., except I think it does a tiny bit more. Wait, I think it does actually less damage, and it hits slower than the mini P.E.K.K.A. It's a counter for Mega Knight. I don't like P.E.K.K.A. that much. I don't use it that much, so I'm gonna put that in the C tier. Some people might not like that, but I don't like P.E.K.K.A. that much. Elixir Collector. Elixir Collector's main is a 6 elixir card that produces extra elixir. It basically charges up elixir in the pump, and it gives you 1 extra elixir. It's pretty much self-explanatory like that. I don't really like it either. I don't like it at all. I never use it. It's not in any that great decks, so I'm gonna put that in the D tier. Dark Prince. Dark Prince is basically like Prince. It has a little bit less health, but it has a shield. And Dark Prince does splash damage and does a little bit less damage than the Prince. So I'll put the Dark Prince at A tier. I like it a little bit better than the Prince. Ice Spirits. This is a 2 elixir card that spawns 2... did I say Ice Spirits? I meant to say Fire Spirits. It's a 2 elixir card that does... it spawns 2 Fire Spirits which do splash damage and do a lot of damage. But overall, they're not that great. And they do splash damage too. They do splash damage and they do a lot of damage. So if you have something in front of the Fire Spirits, then the Fire Spirits hit, then that will do like up to 600 damage depending on how much you upgrade them. But overall, I really do not like Fire Spirits that much, so I'll put that in the D tier. I forget where I put Ice Spirit. I put Ice Spirit in A, yeah. So, okay, this is a, what is it called? Oh yeah, Royal Recruits. They are the worst probably one of the worst card in the game. They take 7 elixir. So it basically spawns 7 knights, but have way less health, but they have shields, and they do like 50 to 100 damage per hit. And it's for 7 elixir. I think they're kind of overpriced. I really do not like them, so I'm gonna put that in the D tier. Goblin Giant. Goblin Giant, I prefer Goblin Giant more than actual Giant because it's like Giant and it does around the same amount of damage as Giant. It's the same thing as Giant, except it has 2 spear goblins on its back that can defend the Goblin Giant, and when the Goblin Giant actually dies, those 2 spear goblins fall, and they can actually attack the other card. It's just basically 2 spear goblins that spawn after the Goblin Giant dies. So I'll put the Goblin Giant also in the A tier. Barbarian Barrel. Barbarian Barrel is like Log, except it's smaller and does less damage, except it spawns a Barbarian. So Log I put in S tier. Barbarian Barrel I will put in B tier because it's really not that great. Goblins are like spear goblins, except they do not have spears. They have little daggers, and they go after the tower melee like. And so they're like spear goblins, except they have daggers and they go after go after anything melee. And it does a little bit more damage than spear goblins. They do a lot of damage. Lightning. Lightning is another spell card that does a lot of damage, and it attacks 3 things. If you put lightning against 3 musketeers, it will take out the 3 musketeers pretty much. It'll leave them 3 musketeers 1 hit. All 3 of them will be 1 hit, and it does do a lot of damage. So I'm gonna put that at the B tier. Ram Rider. Battle Ram, sorry. Battle Ram is like Ram Rider, except it's a ram that 2 barbarians are holding, and it charges it goes really fast like the Prince, and when it hits the tower first, it does a lot of damage, like 600, and then 2 barbarians that are holding the Battle Ram spawn back, and they can do damage to the tower. I don't like Battle Ram that much, so I'm going to put that at the C tier. Archers. Archers are a card that you get in training camp, and they spawn 2 of them, and they do like 100 damage every hit for 3 elixir, and they have a bow and they shoot arrows, so they're ranged. But I do not like archers that much, so I'm gonna put them at the D tier. Flying Machine. I do like Flying Machine, but Flying Machine, it's basically, it's mainly for defense. So, and it shoots it has a cannon inside a machine, and it shoots at a troop or a building, and it does like 150 damage around there. And it does not do splash damage, and it is really not that great. It's mostly for defense. I like it, but it's not that great. I'll put that at the B tier. Mirror. Mirror is really a bad card. It basically just mirrors the card that you have just placed. Let's say I placed some bats. Or actually I could use this as an example. The minion horde. How I was talking about mirroring the minion horde and cloning and raging it. So you can use minion instead of clone. You can just put your minion horde down, and then if you mirror the minion horde, you have to use 1 extra elixir, and it just puts in the same card. So you have double of the card except for 1 extra elixir with the mirror. I don't like mirror that much, so I'm going to put that at the C tier. So, okay, Zappies. Zappies is relatively new too. It's a 4 elixir card that you get at Electro Valley Arena 11. And it's like Zap, except and it zaps like if it's against a prince and the prince is coming, and they'll zaps it, then it'll stop the prince from charging. And the 3 zappies with all together then will stop the prince from hitting them. They will stop the prince from hitting them for a longer time. So the prince hits every 1.5 seconds, and with the zappies it'll hit every 2.5 seconds. So it's pretty good, but I'll put that at the C tier. Royal Hogs. Royal Hogs are basically just they're like Ram Rider basically rides a hog, and so they move. It spawns 4 hogs. That's what a hog rider rides. And it spawns 4 hogs for 5 elixir, and the hogs go straight after buildings, and they do 70 damage per hit. So if all the hogs are together, they do a lot of damage to the tower. So I'll put that at B tier because I don't mainly use Royal Hogs that much. Expo. Expo is another defense card. It shoots arrows and it's pretty fast for 6 elixir and takes a while to load. When if you put it in, it'll spawn, and then it takes 2 or 3 seconds to actually spin the wheel and then get it ready. And I do not like Expo that much. It's for defense for 6 elixir, and I don't like it that much, so I'll put that in the D tier. Royal Ghost. Royal Ghost is basically a ghost until it actually attacks something. So when it's a ghost until it attacks something, and when it attacks something, it's just a knight pretty much. I do like Royal Ghost, and it does splash damage. It's better than the knight, and it turns invisible until it attacks something. So I'll put that in at the A tier. Golem. Golem beatdown decks are sometimes really good, depending on what beatdown deck that you have. But Golem is just another tank troop for 8 elixir, and it does not do that much damage. And when the actual big golem dies, it explodes and spawns 2 mini golems. And when the 2 mini golems die, they explode and do even more damage to the tower. So I'll put Golem at C tier. Electro Wizard. I do love Electro Wizard. It's really good. So Electro Wizard does not do splash damage. It's a legendary card for 4 elixir, and I believe you get it at Arena 11, Electro Valley. And the Electro Wizard basically zaps stuff. So it's a good counter for Inferno Tower and Inferno Dragon. It zaps the thing so it stops attacking for a split second. And it does do a decent amount of damage, and it can zap 2 things at once. So I'll put that at the S tier because I really do like it. Balloon. Like I said, with Lumberloon decks, they're really good. Balloon is basically an air troop that goes after only buildings, and it does a lot of damage. But a good counter for Balloon would be Inferno Tower. Balloon does a lot of damage. So if you put a lumberjack in front of the balloon, when the lumberjack dies, it'll put a rage spell for the balloon, and while the balloon is raged, it will take out the tower if it's not defended, obviously. But if it is defended, it still gets 2 hits, 1 or 2 hits with the rage. So I really like that card, so I'm gonna put that at the S tier. Baby Dragon. I also really like Baby Dragon. It's a splash damage troop, It's a dragon for 4 elixir that you get at training camp, and it does splash damage. It's a great counter for graveyard, and it does a lot of damage, quite a bit of damage, and it has quite a bit of health. So I'll put that at S tier also. Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard, I have a really great deck for Ice Wizard. Basically, it's a wizard that does not do much damage, but it's like a snowball where it slows down the troop a little bit. While, if it's a troop or a tower, if it goes after the tower, it slows down the tower a little bit. And it does like 70 damage per hit. It's mainly for defense or slowing down the tower in a great push. And it does splash damage. Not that much splash damage, but like a good amount. So I'll put that at the A tier because I have a great deck with Ice Wizard. Bats. Bats are basically minion horde, except bats are 1 hit for any troop. They kill it in 1 shot for 2 elixir, and bats just like do a little bit of damage. They didn't do that much damage. They do maybe as much damage as a skeleton. They're really not that great, so I'm gonna put that at the D tier. I don't like it. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is a really great card. Does more damage, I think, than the P.E.K.K.A. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but the P.E.K.K.A., I think the P.E.K.K.A. does a little bit less damage than the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And the Mini P.E.K.K.A. is for 4 elixir. It does not have as much health as the P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A. is mainly a tank, but the Mini P.E.K.K.A. does a lot of damage, and it has a decent amount of health. So I'll put that at the S tier. Rocket. Rocket is a 6 elixir card. It's a spell, and it does a lot of damage, and it takes a while to actually hit. And I do not like Rocket that much. It's basically a fireball, but for more elixir, and it takes longer to actually go hit something. So I'm going to put that at the D tier. I don't really like it that much. Lava Hound. I do not have Lava Hound, but you get Lava Hound in Arena 4, P.E.K.K.A.'s Playhouse. And it's a tank. If you have a Lava Loon deck or a Lava Loon Yin deck, it's Lava Hound, Balloon, or Lava Hound and Balloon and minions. But Lava Hound basically goes after buildings, and it does like 30 damage per hit. It's mainly a tank, and when it dies, when the Lava Hound dies, it spawns like 6 lava pups, which do more damage and are 2 shot to most troops. But I don't really like Lava Hound, so I'm going to put that at the C tier. Princess. Princess is another card that I do not have. And so basically it does splash damage, and it can go from a large range. It can hit the tower without the tower actually being able to hit the princess. But the princess is easily countered. It like you can log it because it has a really low amount of health for 3 elixir, and you get you get that in Arena 7, Royal Arena, and it's really not that great, so I'm going to put that at the B tier. So guys, I hope you liked my tier list for all of the Clash Royale cards except Goblin Cage, because this is the best tier list that I could find. So please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and share the video with someone else so someone else can enjoy the video. And if you guys do not agree with my tier list, that is perfectly fine. This is only my tier list, and this is what I think the cards are, but you might have a different opinion. That's your opinion. This is my opinion. I hope you guys like the video. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and share the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.